Welcome to Viinipodi. I'm gonna speak English this episode because our interview is gonna be in English. So let's make it nice for all the international listeners. My name is Samuli Pasanen, and again I'm hosting this podcast alone since my partner Jonas is too busy with his brewery and couldn't make it today, unfortunately. Today we're gonna be talking with two special guests, Carlos Henriques and Luca Balac from the restaurant Nolla, Nolita and Elm. They are really special restaurateurs in Finland. They are really on the forefront and have been for almost a decade when it comes to sustainability in restaurants. And we'll hear a bit more about that. And but I truly feel like I've been following them since the beginning, and they are doing something very unique in the Finnish restaurant, and I feel like even globally they're big stars. And today we're going to find out what do they think about wines, and what kind of wines they serve, and what's their philosophy about wine. I came across Nolla for the first time when they opened their first pop-up. And I don't remember much about the wines, but I do remember this bourbon dish that they served, in Finnish, made. And they grilled it and it stuck with me. And I think from ever since when I've been fishing or buying bourbons, in Finland, I think grilling it and make it a bit Mediterranean or Portuguese style is the really way to go. And maybe they'll tell me a bit more about that. Before I invite Carlos and Luka to the studio, let's thank our sponsors. Our favorite wine fridge provider, Temptech and Frio Nordic, is back. With the code Viinipodi, you can get 20% off from all their wine cabinets, and they have a lot of them, from big to small, from consumer models to professional ones. Go check them out. And today I wish I would have had a wine cabinet for a longer time, because I brought a wine that I wanted to taste the guys, but unfortunately it was kept not in a wine fridge, and it was kept for too long in a bad place, and it was awful. It was cooked, it was jammy, it felt like I wasted the wine for not having it in a wine fridge. But gladly now I do have a big wine fridge from Temptech, and I've been really enjoying it. So go to Temptech.fi and find yourself a cooler. And 20% is a good deal. So thank you, Temptech. And also thank you, Decanter.fi. Decanter is the importer of Riedel glasses, Guyot, and a lot of other premium brand kitchen brands. So if you like to drink wine and cook in the kitchen, Decanter.fi is your web shop of choice. But now let's invite Carlos and Luca to the studio. Welcome to the Viinipodi, Carlos and Luca. How are you?
Oh, good.
Good.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Finally, you invited us.
Finally, yeah. We've been doing this over a year.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've been holding it back. Hey, you're from restaurant Nolla, Elm and Nolita. You've been running a restaurant almost 10 years in Helsinki, but please tell a little bit of your story.
All over the place. But Luka will start.
Yeah, we managed to open Nolla 2018 after we knocked on every single restaurant in the city, trying to get us a lease for the restaurant operations. And our first location was in Liisenkatu. I don't know if you remember. It was a beautiful old building in the corner in the Svenska Klubben.
The pop-up. I went there once. Yeah. And in the intro, I actually told, like, I have a very memorable dish that from there, the grilled bourbons you had.
Yeah.
And ever since that, I had the grilled bourbon last year when I came to Nolla, but when I've been fishing or buying bourbon ever since, I think, like, in Finnish we do the soup. Which is nothing wrong with the soup, but the grilled bourbon is, like, you can't even believe it's a lake fish from Finland when you eat it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that Finnish people was telling us that we were serving their own products in a very different way. They never had it. I guess that was sort of similar what happened to you.
I once grilled it for some friends, and then one was like, this tastes like fish when you eat when you're away from Finland.
Exactly, it has the monkfish structure with the meat. So so I think that was one of our successes in Lisänkatu. Exactly what you mentioned, that we managed to bring our backgrounds of South European cooking, which is all about grilling fish, with the local ingredients, and that made maybe that's kind of built into our identity of all the places we have.
So Alberto is not here, but there's three of you, and you are all chefs who started Nolla and the restaurants after.
Cooks.
Cooks, as a background, yeah.
How do you feel to be talking about wine here now?
Well, we'll see.
you
we haven't started yet. You'll tell us later. But with Nolla, we felt that 3 cooks in one kitchen would be maybe too much for one soup. So we, with Carlos, started practicing to talk about wines as well. So we did a fair part of training on that. I'm not sure how it works, but it's okay for us.
I remember you had a good start when you started Nolla, right? I remember even reading about you in New York Times around that time.
The start was not so good, but we just mentioned the story that we remember to a friend. And it was funny because that was maybe 3 months into opening, and the start was not very fast. The weekends were good, but the weekdays were very slow, and we opened with menu only option, 4 and 6 course, without menu informed anywhere. So people would need to book to arrive, and then only then we would explain them the dishes. We didn't even change during the week, so it was very, very, very hard. So 3-4 months since we opening, me and Albert went to New York to start the pop-up for a week, in a design week, and Carlos stayed behind to run the restaurant. And in that week when we left, we got 4 stars in Helsinki Sanomat, and the New York Times wrote about it. So from the place that was not very busy and not very organized on the bookings or anything, the booking went through the phone, that after it rang for 5 times in the restaurant, it transferred to Carlos' personal phone.
So that's how busy we were.
Yeah, it was not it was not a problem to deal with it. So we were away, 2 of us, and by the way, at the time we had 2 other full-time employees.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So Carlos stays with Sarah and Max.
Yeah.
And
Pia.
3. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And suddenly his phone starts ringing from the morning till the
6 o'clock. My first phone call, and it was like, "Hey, do you still have tables?" I was like, "Yeah."
He didn't read the news.
We're sure we do. And it just kept going. It was crazy. So when we looked, we didn't even had a proper, because again, 3 cooks. So the system was not proper set up, the reservation system. So we used to have something like 30 bookings a night. And I just opened the booking and we had 130 for Saturday.
We didn't block the tables or anything, so
it was a total mess. So I just start calling everyone in the industry, Ferry, Borgar, everyone I knew, just kind of, please come and help me. Like, I really need help. And everyone came and actually helped me, and that's how we survived. So actually told me how to handle that, because we had 0 experience how to handle a restaurant, or 1.5 months with never being full. So that was the first time that I actually understood even how to, polish a glass properly, to be honest.
But you had
was
friends.
The beauty of the industry. We have still beautiful friends.
I don't know if you want to talk already about wine, but I think it's just something that it would be very important. Maybe it was just because normally people start in the story of a restaurant when it starts, but I think before it started, it was also really hard, and it was also it was very important for us. It was also maybe also lucky that we were able to open the restaurant, and for very long we were looking for a location, and we weren't able to find a location. And I was buying fish in Tukutorikalla, and in the front of me there was the CEO at the time of Royal Ravintola.
Noho nowadays.
Yeah, Noho nowadays, which is actually not even the CEO of Noho anymore, Aktu Wingström. And basically, I have worked for him in the past and some work, and he was like, hey, how are you, Carlos? And I was like, oh, good. But I'm still looking for a place. And he was like, oh, do you want to come to work for us? And I was like, no, I really want to open our own place. And he was like, okay, send me an email tomorrow. I'll find you a place. And that's how it went. So I sent him an email, and they had a space for us temporary, for 8 months. And that's how actually Nolla became, to be something. And after that, it was really hard again to find a new space. So I don't think people even understand how much, because we didn't, how much money you need to have upfront, or how hard it is to actually find a space in Finland that even wants to rent you a restaurant space. It's really, really hard.
And being a foreigner doesn't help. We unfortunately encounter that part of the game.
Yeah.
And actually everything that we ended up on and organizing was through the help of a Finnish Swede.
God bless the Finnish
God
Swedes.
bless the Finnish Swedes, with connections and a beautiful last names.
Yeah, so basically after that, we had already Helsinki Sanomat 4 stars, we had New York Times, and we made a little bit of money. And on top of that, we even sold 20% of the company on a crowdfunding. So we got also a little bit more money from that, and we thought that, okay, now you can find a place. And then we would knock the door, and then, no one would be
every
willing.
place except Bus, we asked if there was up for sale.
Yeah, so we just go one-to-one, Google them and find how they are doing financially, buy their accounting sheets, and then go to them, hey, do you want to sell your place? I saw
Looks like you're not doing that well.
so well, so,
Yeah.
And I mean, it made sense to us, but we weren't able to, and again, it was almost a year, and we weren't able to find a location. But then we got our friend who speaks Swedish, and then we would take him, and the doors immediately start opening. So speak Swedish, it's a lot easier.
Okay, get a Swedish place if you want to open a restaurant.
That's my first advice normally.
Maybe not the best thing for Finland to hear that.
I mean, it's a game. We play the game.
It's the same everywhere.
In a country that you are, you need to play by local rules. You need to understand they can be sometimes against you, they can be sometimes for you, but life is like that.
I'm gonna now pour some wine, but I would also because I don't think maybe not all of the listeners really know what is the values of Nolla and the way you work, because it is a unique style restaurant. Like, you are so committed to the sustainability and zero waste. Was that always the thing? And can you explain a bit like how far you go with the idea? Because zero waste, there's a lot of greenwashing in this world as well. Yeah. And people, we have this stamp of sustainability, and in the end it's pretty much business as usual, but you're not like that.
No. I think from our first meeting, when we talked about what would be important things for the restaurant would be kind of standing behind every product and every dish that we serve, and trying to do a bit better than the restaurants we worked for initially. And then I think step by step, as well as kind of passionate and determined people we are, especially Albert is on the field of sustainability, we start kind of going step by step and questioning everything. How can we improve, and what can we do to do better in all the steps, from the kitchen to toilets to wines. In the beginning, it was very hard, especially because there was not a handbook on how to run a zero waste restaurant or a sustainable restaurant. Sustainability was not a known word. In 2018, it was not used often. And zero waste as well was very confusing. So when we started as a zero waste concept, our customers would be very confused. So are we serving the food that's best past the best before date, or what is the system?
Did you find it from trash cans?
Trash cans, yeah. People, we heard all the jokes, man. I heard it all, and then it took a while as well for us to know how much we tell about sustainability and how much we stay as a restaurant experience or as a hospitality experience in general. And we're still, I think it changes, the line changes through the years. Sometimes we were very political and we tried to tell a lot about the sustainability and the issues that we face. But then we realized people was living sad, not because of the food, because of the thought of the...
We're killing the world.
Yeah, we're doomed, but we still have possibility to change, but we need to change our things. So we thought, okay, we want to be a place where people enjoy and our background or everything is as sustainable as we can. We're not perfect, but we try to improve every time.
Yeah, so we're talking less and less about it. We feel that is, I personally feel that is not good for us to talk about sustainability as a restaurant. It would be the same if all the bottles that we have here are fairly sustainable places that have achieve a little bit of balance with wherever they are from, but you don't start like, oh, this is a very sustainable wine, you first care if it's good or not good.
There's a hint of sustainability.
So I think in food or restaurant is the same, most people don't care, and I'm not here to judge them. They don't care if our food is sustainable or not. They care if it's good and how it was prepared. So I think we should lead with that. Sustainability comes in the back of that. So when I like to talk about the restaurant, I like talk about our wines, our food, how we make our operations, how we take care of the staff or the guests, of all that. And then, it just happens to be sustainable, like really.
And then if people want to ask more in the restaurant, everyone has that thread to, you can learn and show all the aspects of compost and the closing the circle within the kitchen, and the toilet soap story that's made with our frying fat, and the towels that are cut out of used towels. So there's many hidden stories that we don't necessarily say.
And
maybe if people listening come there, they should ask questions, because there is even just whether you put the cutlery that's made from the plastic waste, and most of the art seems to be
for sure.
And it's everywhere, it's linked. And I think it's been very nice to see you evolve in the years. Like it's a long journey, I feel like you've done, but it's been the same. The compost the smell of compost, I remember for the first time, because it didn't have as a good of extraction. Yeah, and then I was like, what are these guys doing?
but it's a rye, kind of earthy herbal smell from it, not necessarily the bad smell.
And when people think like, what is the compost? So you have this almost magical compost that turns food waste and other organic stuff into dirt, basically, in 24-hour cycle.
Yeah, right? You see it. Yeah, you see it from everywhere in the restaurant. But again, we don't tell about it unless you really ask, what is this huge machine of stainless steel doing in probably a prime spot of the restaurant? And then I will tell you why it's there and how it works, and what are the cycles and how is the pasteurization and how we handle the extraction with the charcoal. But you don't go there for that, do you? You don't go there because we have a cool composter.
That's what makes you want to come back.
So we've been going more and more on that direction of, and I don't know if you saw, but we got another prize of sustainability award a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't feel like much anymore when I got to the stage. Best or most sustainable restaurant in Finland, and I don't know, maybe it's been 10 years of winning sustainability awards. And for me now, I don't know, I want to win food awards and wine awards and service awards and entrepreneurship awards. That's what I want to do now. The sustainability, it's there. It will continue. It's very strong in our bones, but that's not what I want to be recognized for my whole life, to be very honest.
I get it. Hey, let's talk about wine a bit.
Yeah.
You both come from wine production.
All three
of you. But the two of you here, you come from wine producing countries. Carlos, you're from Portugal.
Yeah.
And Luka, you're from Serbia.
Yeah.
First, I poured us something that you, Carlos, brought.
Yeah.
It's a white wine from Portugal, but would you like to?
Yeah, I actually thought I didn't bring anything from my own region, which is down, but I brought something from Portugal. I brought these wines because we start to import some wines, not much, but just something that we really like, or mainly from our own countries, because the connection is so strong with the producers. And here we have Guyot. I don't know actually if this is a universal thing, but Guyot for us is a word that we use to describe how you put the vines. Is it the same in French or?
Yeah, it's Guyot is the one type of how to train the wine.
Yeah.
It's named after a guy called Guyot, French.
Okay.
Of course,
Yeah,
yes.
French, I don't remember, was it 100 years ago or 150 years ago, but he came up with the Guyot, and then there's double Guyot. It's the way in the winter you start pruning the grapes, and there's other trellising systems in the world.
Well, for us, there's actually many.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know if in France is the same, but in Portugal, for example, so Vinho Verde, which is quite known, normally the vines are actually going up and more free. And then when you go to, so if you start in Vinho Verde, then you go down and then you go to Douro. And Douro, normally they use the Guyot, which is from the region. And then, so if you go down, it's a little bit different. Especially if you go to south, they need a little bit of shadow, so they grow them a little bit more up. So it's actually quite interesting how in Portugal, at least, they change a lot how they do
the climates as well.
Yeah, the systems. So here they name the wine Guyot, and it's actually there are both engineers and they've been working in many companies, but the idea here is actually they buy grapes from 20 different producers, and it's a field blend so Douro is divided in 3 parts, and this is from the high region of Douro. And then they just oak aged, 12-month old oak, but there's a little bit of structure. I think it represents the region quite well. I also really like, to be honest, that the image is one of the persons that sort of the idea that it's these producers without a face, because the Douro region is full of these small producers actually that grow the grapes themselves, and then they sell it to the bigger houses. They own the land. So I really like that also they did the homage to that. And yeah, their amounts of wines that they bottle on Guyot, on this specifically, change a lot based on the year. So they have another label, which is Boina, which is sort of their entry level. And then they do first that, and this is just the grapes that they find the best. So, I wanted to bring you also something nice. And you cannot have it anywhere else than Nolla, which also makes it quite cool.
2020,
so it's a little bit aged.
Yeah, perfect. So the oak is under there, so it's.
And I think Douro Valley is known for producing port wine grapes and big red wines, but I've really come to enjoy the white wines from Douro as well. They're not as available, of course, but you can get this one from Nolla.
Yeah, and this has a little bit of structure, it's a bit of more of a elaborated wine, which I like very much.
Very classic.
Yeah.
Very, very classic. So.
Classic.
Would you have drank this back home, or did you drink Da wine? How regional is the wine?
No, it's 100% regional. Basically, I drink mainly my family wine, to be honest. It's actually a personal insult if you go to someone's house and you don't want to taste their own wine. It's something that they do, and they are so proud of the wine they did. I guess you have the same with the rakia.
Yeah.
We have that with the wine,
And the wine as well,
Yeah, we did this ourselves, you gotta try that. And you're like, but I'm driving, I'm with the kids, just a small glass. You gotta try it. And I always do, to be honest.
Hospitality.
And I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. It really depends on...
But it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's the fact that they want to open a bottle because you are in their house that makes it special, right? I mean, that's what it is about wine.
Well, now that you're a bit detached from Portugal and you can see the country and the wine regions from a restaurateur from Finland's point of view, and you're a sommelier now,
Not really.
Well, that's what it sounds like. And what are your favorite regions from Portugal, and like why, or what should people be looking at when they look at Portugal? Because it is a lot of heavy red wines in Alco, but it is a very versatile and quite a big wine country. So what would be your tips to...
Yeah, I think Portugal is getting away from the big red wines. I think maybe we kind of learned that customer wants something fresher, and people are also moving away from the big steaks, and they want lighter meals. They want just a little glass with something maybe, to start the meal. And I think we are finally starting to move from that. Of course, Douro, there's a little bit more money. So things are moving faster there, I believe. But then Alentejo, I think there's a lot of potential. It's one of our biggest regions in terms of area. Bairrada has also been doing really good job. Bairrada is next to the sea, so the climate there is really good. It's not so heated by the rest of Spain and even Portugal. So Bairrada, I think, will have a great future. So Bairrada, for people that don't know, it's sort of mid-region between Porto and Lisbon, and next to the sea. Maybe one of the most producers. It's not really Bairrada, but it's very near. She's on the top of Lisbon region, would be Filipa Pato. Kind of her land faces very near. It's also these regions are very, in Portugal, are very not clear where they started and where. So there's Bairrada and they face Lisbon and then down side by side. But yeah, I think Bairrada, it's a really great region for people to look, and the price quality right now is still really, really good.
And Filipa Patos, if you want to find in Finland, you can. I think Viinit is the importer. It might be Pato and Wouters.
Yes, exactly. Name. That's her husband.
Her husband, who is Belgium or...
Not sure.
Not
Austrian?
Portuguese.
No.
Not
I think he's maybe Austrian, but I'm not... take this with a grain of salt. Yeah.
He's a foreigner to Portugal.
But he got his name on the labels.
Yeah. He did. He's a nice guy. I've met him at least once. And they make excellent wines from very old vineyards. Yes. Like their reds from over 100-year-old vineyards are
this is also
amazing.
Over 100. All the vines that are here on Guyot are over 100 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think we should move on a bit. I'm gonna change the glass. I don't know if you want to do the same. Let's have the big nice glass for the
But I think in the Nolla from the beginning, I think we kept this kind of line of Catalan, Portuguese, Balkan, maybe not so much Serbian, but wines on our wine pairings and the list always to kind of represent our closer links to the customers as well.
Well, Portuguese wine, I would guess, like, of course, these are a bit different than people have gotten to used to, but like Finland has been selling Vinho Verde for 70 years in Alco. I don't know. Like Portuguese wine is a easy yes for people. But
some of them, yeah.
Like as a country, like you say yes to Portugal
if
easier.
It's the cheapest one in the menu.
But Balkan wines are not that well known in Finland, and I think that needs much more selling. But now we're moving. What are we now drinking?
We're drinking Tamjanika, which is a local muscat from Baša, who's a dear friend of ours. This one is from 2020, and he's a front leader on an orange wine scene. He started making wines inspired by Georgia and maybe Eastern Italy part, so and Goriška Brda. So there's a lot of friends there that he got inspired by, and he works. He has a beautiful vineyards on the slopes of Fruška Gora, which is maybe less than 100 kilometers from capital, and they're facing the Danube River. So it's kind of a Mosel of Serbia, with a big tradition of wine growing since the Roman times, and that whole area has been exploded in a wine as a wine country as well. After that, with the Austro-Hungarians, it was a part of Austro-Hungary, and all the wines were shipped with the Danube up to Hungary, to Budapest for the kings. So very prized area, very beautiful area, and very good for winemaking. Bojan's approach is very like leave the wine alone. Like most of in the cases, it should be a long macerations. He's a master of long macerations. So this one is probably can be 3 to 6 months.
You match it to your
glasses.
Yeah. Very nice touch. Yeah. Very aesthetic.
Yeah, he always matches the glasses with wine.
And this one will open as well, but it's a nice one. One of my favorites. He now has somewhere between 5 and 6 labels of different grapes. They're all grown in his vineyards, and he picks everything by hands, mostly. And she just has a very, very simple vinifications there.
Beautiful nose, very powerful, and you can get the aromatics from the. How did you Tamjanika? Tamjanika.
Yeah, I met Baša in 2018-19 when kind of started building a wine list for Nolla. We were doing a research of sustainable, natural wine makers in our hoods, and at that time there was maybe 3 in Serbia. Now there's a bit more, but they were definitely not many options. And he's a beautiful human being that came out, met with me, and we started tasting the wines and became good friends. He's now he's now fighting with a cancer condition, and he's still happiest and works in the vineyards as much as can and supports everyone. And Carlos as well. Albert met him. He came to say hi when we did last year pop-up in Belgrade. So he came and brought us a big case of wines. And
this is lovely. Yeah. Okay, so Serbian wines are going through, and let's say Balkan wines, they've been going through like a rejuvenation a bit throughout the natural movement, and like found a little bit of a ground there. Is that right to say?
Well, I mean, if we go a step behind, the Balkan area is a wonderful area to grow anything. Yep. There's a lot of sun, there's different conditions in the soils, there's different places, there's such a versatile place from Slovenia to Greece, you can imagine all the possibilities. But if we talk about Serbia and Yugoslavia, post-war communism destroyed the wines, destroyed the wine culture, as it all became into a state-owned few companies that dictated and made very monotonous wines that were fit for everyone and that everyone can afford them. So after we came from the 80s out of the communism, we got a boom of a small family-owned wineries, and at that time the identity of Serbian wine was very based on something else. So we would make Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot blends, or something like Barolo-like, or something like Amarone-like wines. There was not really Serbian wine, and I think that in the past 10 years we're trying to regain what is our identity, what are our grapes, and how to play with them. And as well, all the wines, as you know, are dictated by the customer group. So people make what people drink. Wine and booze culture is big in Serbia. Like Carlos mentioned, the rakia is, everyone has homemade rakia. That is the best in the world. His grandpa or uncle makes the best one. That is our typical one, and people will not let you not even sit down before you have a rakia in your hand. From morning till evening, it doesn't matter the time.
So when you were growing up, would you have wines or rakia? Like, which dominated the table?
The table, we have the tradition of kind of starting the meal with rakia, opposite of everyone else. Everyone drinks grappa, for example, on the end to digest, help the digestion. We start straight rakia with salads and cold cuts, and then after the starter, it's a part of a starter culture, and then we move into wine with the main course or the food that we would eat there. So both, and especially being born in now North Macedonia, Ohrid, we have family vineyards and a lot of rakia. You always had a lot of bottles and different bottles filled with different liquids. Then as a kid, we all have traumas opening a water bottle, and it would end up be rakia in the fridge, cold fridge, but 50 degrees basically booze. It's a good shock for anyone.
Honestly, you didn't know which one was water and which one was rakia when you went there.
I think that like everyone produces so much of it that you just grab all the bottles that you have. So most common, I think, is now Ballantine's. The old whiskey Ballantine's is a classic one that you refill from year to year. But as well, Fanta or just
water bottles.
Water bottles are dangerous. And then if it's a colorless one, then that one you can end up zipping from the fridge. But yeah.
And I didn't know rakia could be made from anything, pretty much. You know, we had that Queen's rakia was really good. Yeah. What did we had also? We had peach rakia, like all these types of rakias that I never heard. Age 10 years, 20 years. You know.
Can you get those at Nolla?
At Nolla, yeah, we have Elm has the most at the moment.
Probably because Queen's, peach, and then as also
and the plum. Plum is the traditional one. Yeah, plum is the backbone of kind of Serbia as an ingredient, and as well because in the middle part of Serbia there's a lot of different varieties of plum.
It's our aim at Elm to have the best rakia selection in town, which is probably not that hard, but
aim high.
Four. We have four rakias, so yeah. I mean, that's something. That's something.
For me, it sounds interesting. Like, of course, the histories of Serbia and the Balkan area and Portugal are very different. I mean, like the last 100 years history or 50 years history. But from the vineyards and winemaker point of view, it sounds like there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, and I think culture-wise as well.
Yeah, so that the government has been forcing the vineyards to do something that they might not want to do. It's not with you. It wasn't Portugal. It wasn't communism. And now after 80s, it's been slowly opening up and finding its own way again.
I mean, we had fascism. So it's politics is a little bit like if you go. I don't know, if you go far enough, it's you go back to meet each other. So I think when you have extreme fascism and you have extreme communism, there were very similar. And maximizing, also we had the same thing, that the biggest producers were all the same, and everybody was selling their grapes to this central place that bought the grapes from everyone, and they had the ones that had the license to make actually wine. So it was sort of, you could do it, but it wasn't really legal to make wine at home. So you needed to go to these places, they would pay you for your grape, and then you would buy the wine. So yeah, that was basically how it worked mainly.
Well, if somebody is interested to go for a wine trip to Serbia, what would be, like, what kind of a plan would you want to give them? Like, not super detailed, but...
Not super... Well, I mean, you land in Belgrade and then there's few restaurants and wine bars that you can go to just kind of get a first touch. And from there, I mean, we luckily did the trip to different parts of Serbia last year. So Fruška Gora it can be a day trip. It's under an hour car road with the different options of the wineries, but as well there is a small town which is oldest university town or city actually in Serbian kingdom back in the days, and there is a lot of wine cellars there that you can just go and visit and have different wines. My favorite would be we have on the eastern part of Serbia, we have wine villages. There's 3 wine villages. Rogljevo and Rajac are my favorite. They are made in 1800s. It's around 300 meters above sea level in the small slopes. And there are stone buildings that every house has a wine cellar in the lower part, and then up you can go and you can stay and sleep in most of the cases. And that one is a bit further out, but it's a beautiful. There we have as well some wines. We had, not anymore, but we had some wines from there. There is a beautiful French couple, Bonjour. Maybe you've tasted the wines with us.
Maybe
they worked in big names in Burgundy, big houses, and they fell in love with that part of Serbia, and he found a lot of similarities with the soil of Burgundy and that part of, and they produce a lot of old Gamay, for example, there. Oh. So it's much lighter. It's as well like lighter for us, but because there's a lot of sun, the red wines are as well big. But that part for me would be a must visit and to sleep over, preferably for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Nothing to do with Valentine's. For us, Valentine's is a Sveti Trifun, Saint Trifun, which is winemakers' saint day, and it's a village party. I accidentally ended up there, and it was a festival with open doors of winemakers, and actually in the village.
What was the name of the village once again?
Rogljevo.
Rogljevo.
They're close by, Rogljevo or Rajac. I ended up in Rogljevo because I visited the French, it's called French Winery in Serbia. And their idea was to start making wines in Serbia for Serbia. They were misunderstood, and maybe it was hard market, so they mostly export the wines everywhere. We even had them here in Finland back in the days. Amazing wines, Burgundy style wines there. So I ended up visiting them in February, and it happened to be a Valentine's Day. So the village hosts the big party, and each year is a different house that takes over, that it opens the door for the whole village. So we visited the winery, and I said, okay, let's pick up some Magnum bottles, or double Magnums actually, 2 bottles, and we had to a neighbor's place. So we just opened, and it was 200 people in the yard celebrating the wine, and with the Pope, and then people would just bring food to you, and you would have wines and share a bit of wines and have food. And
sounds like a good Valentine.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had my dad driving me back.
I'm gonna celebrate Serbian Valentine.
Yeah, let's do something special.
It's basically kind of as well regulated. People don't do it anymore because of the climate, but the Pope kind of visits the vineyards and bless the grapes. And from that day, you can start grafting or cutting and do everything. So 14th of February is basically you start working in the vineyards for the upcoming year.
Okay.
And that's the link to that. So you cut the first wines, and then you party for 2 days or 3.
And what about food? Is it easy to get good food everywhere, or do you need to be?
I think the basic good food is easy to get everywhere fairly affordably. It's a very meat-oriented country, so there's a lot of meat dishes everywhere. Luckily, 2 big rivers, Danube and Sava, which bring us a lot of fish there. So, if not a big fan of meat, or you want to have a balance there is some beautiful places to visit to eat fish.
I think it's really good, the food. Honestly, I was very impressed by the quality of the food on a road restaurant. I mean, if you don't have any allergies and dietary restrictions, it's a perfect place to go.
Not go there
because they don't understand that. They don't have that culture. I didn't have it either. I mean, in Portugal, it's a new thing, especially 15 years ago. But they don't have that like, oh, no onions. It's like, well, just leave them on the side with. Like, what is this? Like, or no meat, like that. I don't know. It's just, you order what you order and you get what you get. But if you are that kind of person, I mean, anything would be really good. You just have a shopskasso, which is like tomatoes, cucumber, bit of local feta. It's not feta, but it's there. And like, really, really good. Like, honestly, like, I was so impressed with the food. We'll just stop the car, go a place near the road, and the food would be so good. Really, really good. It's the product. They have really good
the product is really good. Yeah.
We stopped in a small village. Someone was doing sausages.
Yeah, that was really good. The one
like with real meat aging.
There was a goat. There was a goat. We went for a goat goulash, which was a village maybe 50 kilometers away, just to see that. Good. But then we were in the yard, and we see the fields and we're like, what is this? We grow our paprika to make the sausage. So they grow the paprika to dry the paprika and to put into coolant. It's a chorizo style, not.
It's a religion. Kulan is a bit of a religion. People are talking about Kulan.
And the eyes get bigger, and everyone is very passionate about it. And we have different villages that make a bit of different style. They can be as well Slovak villages because of the minorities that stayed after the Austro-Hungarians, and it's. I got as well introduced now with Carlos when we drove a bit to a new place that I have never been. So there is, you should look around. So Belgrade is good, and it's a hub for food and party from the region. Everyone goes there because we can and know how to party. Yeah. In all different ways and sizes. So Belgrade is available and it's affordable.
And in Belgrade was easy to find wine.
Wine, yeah.
Because outside it wasn't that easy.
No, there was no option. It was just like you get the house wine and what is the neighbor's wine or connection. So, but I think that's fine as well. It fits the environment.
Yeah.
And that's what customers dictate. People drink that wine, so they serve that wine. It's very fast there. But yeah, I think for my visit to Serbia, I would definitely visit Rogljevo and Rajac. They're close to each other, and you should look it up. They look like a French wine village with stone houses and beautiful vineyards.
That sounds really nice. I've never been to the Balkans myself, and it's like a mystery region. But I've been tasting quite a bit of wines from that side of the Adriatic Sea, a fair bit, and I feel like in the last 10 years it's just been more and more amazing wines coming out, and a little bit the same as with Portugal. Like it's just maybe there's been a few already, but it's just they've found the market in the Western world, let's say, like in the bigger cities and metropolitan areas, and yeah. And this Baša,
yeah,
is exceptionally well made orange wine. It's aromatic. It has good body.
Yeah,
it's delicious, and you wanna. Yeah,
it goes down easily. That's the best quality of wine, of course. But as well, it fits with many dishes, so you can eat this with light meats to fish and vegetables. Brings
what would you pair that in Nolla?
Well, with Nolla, usually this works for me very well with the pil dish that we have. We usually make a sauce out of fish gelatin with herb oil, which is quite thick but still aromatic. And we either have it with the grilled romaine or some fish in some case. And this muscat or Tamjanika brings a lot of, cuts the acidity through the fatness, but as well works like hand in hand with the herbal and floral parts of the dish.
I think we also had it when we had the tartar with a lot of Grand Reserve on top, if I remember well.
But it was other label, so it was a bit. He started with Pinot Grigio actually. He first planted Pinot Grigio, and he has after that Furmint, Morava, Tamjanika, and actually we bought a barrel, which we now, due to situation, we will see how to. He made Prokupac, which is a Serbian Game variety. He planted a small batch, in his vineyard, and he made it's a 225 liters barrel. So in the last visit to the vineyard, we were with our restaurant general manager Kiki. Two of us, and then he gave us the just like maybe a few months in the barreling, very, very fresh. And I was like, wow, this will be amazing. So I was like, can we talk business? I was like, sure, of course. It's like, can we buy the whole barrel? I was like, the whole barrel? I was like, yeah. So it's like, it's for us. And then there's a wine bar that we went.
So easy to move stuff outside of EU.
Yeah,
especially
that's why as well.
Oh my God.
So I think that it will need to be bottled in some big format, probably double magnum, because we are outside of EU. Other than that, I wanted to bring him and the barrel, and then we would open the barrel, we would make a party. drink a lot of maybe in November for like our Prokupac Nouveau Serbian Game style celebration, and then we would bottle the rest if there would be something left, of course.
If you think it's hard to bring wine from EU outside of EU, it's next level.
Special, yeah.
Isn't it nice that Finland brings these challenges? It's not just Finland, of course. EU is part of it, but like, hey, can I ask you to make a little blend in that glass, and then we can go. We can travel back to Portugal.
Yeah, our friend Teresa.
Have some little bit of red wine.
Yeah. I mean, this wine is funny. It was introduced to me by this, actually really good looking guy. He's Finnish. And it was pretty funny that, I was introduced to a producer by a Finnish guy. Which was you, of course. So you were traveling. I don't know exactly what you were doing. If were you traveling for business or pleasure? Was it or both? I mean, I guess
it's always both.
It's
it's gonna be published. The article in a wine magazine in the Viinilehti. I'm not sure, but in exactly which magazine, but. It's I made a story of Alentejo wines and specifically the Alentejo wines that are made in these clay pots that are called Talha. How do you Talha? And I don't remember exactly where the idea came from, but I think it came from this great book that I have and I read, written by Simon J. Wolfe called Food Trodden. Mm-hmm. And there they were explaining the tradition of these Talha wines that goes back to the Roman times, and it survived the fascist period somewhat. A lot of the tradition has been destroyed. Nobody knows how to make those clay pots anymore in Portugal. The producers now have to buy clay from Italy, which is a shame. Maybe somebody will learn how to do them again in Portugal. But the culture seems to be a bit the same as you were explaining about the Valentine's Day. They have this big party in November, after which, and I think it's a saint. I don't remember exactly which saint.
Called, the name of the party is called Magusto. That's I don't recall the name of the saint. Sorry, I wasn't much of a church boy, but
you look like one.
I know. I have all the
Amen.
But yeah, so that was the name of the party is called Magusto. So
Saint
what they
Martin.
do? Yeah, exactly. So what they do every year is that they collect. I mean, now they're actually changing a little bit. So here in Natalha, Teresa, they actually collect the grapes a little bit earlier than the tradition they used to be, because they like a bit fresher, lighter wines, which I think this is not a very typical Alentejo at all. This very light, fresh, high acidity, easy to drink style of red, I would say. But what they do is they collect it, and it doesn't matter whenever you collect the wines, it should stay in contact with the skins until the party. So all the wine is always bottled in that November, and that's where you go around to your neighbor and you taste the wines, and then you just, this is good, and then something that comes from that, I'm sure they told you about this, but what they can do also is that, so basically, maybe I go backwards to explain a little bit. So this is actually a UNESCO region, this Natalha, and basically because it's the only place that they do amphora wines this way. So the most place known is Georgia for amphora wines, but they're actually under the ground. The amphora wines in Georgia, and these are huge amphoras. They're outside of the ground. How they basically do it, this is also a very old system. So they have it on caves where they store this, and basically they will put all the wine, everything, all the grapes, and then they will just crush it before and then leave it. They keep, of course, soaking them until the fermentation is done, and then they just cover it. And then they open it on the bottom. So what does this do is that the wine will actually run through slowly through all this and filter itself by going through the branches and all. They call it mother, the thing that stays on the bottom. And then what you do, which I think is quite unusual, is that if you think that your wine needs a little bit of structure, you can actually go to someone else's garage your wine and pour your wine on top, and your wine is filtered through their mother. So for example, they made a white wine and they thought, oh, this white wine is not, it's still missing something, missing body. So they passed it through a mother of a red wine, and then they made rosé. But this is actually very common, that like, oh, my mother this year is better, has a lot of structure and body, and he filters wine really, really good. So you just go and I asked Teresa, but this seems crazy. I mean, the wine is pouring slowly through, because these are, 2,000 liters or 1,000 liters, like clay pots. They are huge. And I was like, how do you do this? And I was like, oh, we just put an alarm on our phone. So every 3 hours you come and, you empty, and then you do another one, and then you empty and you do another one. So this is a very old tradition, and they use water cooling like you would do in a computer service rack. So they actually put water pipes through the talhas, and there's constantly water passing through the wine, and that's how they keep the temperature similar through the year. So I don't know any other place that does anything like this. That's why we decided to import this, and thanks to you for letting me know. I knew about Natalhas from Espoo. They do some, but it's very, very small. It's not a very commercial. No. And I didn't know that this tradition was coming back. There are a lot of Natalha produced wine, but it's normally used for the family. So they produce only for themselves. They don't sell it, but now there start to be a couple of companies that actually are producing this, because it's not very commercial. It's really hard to do. If you don't have the talhas already, it's a huge investment just to buy one of
If you can find one.
If you can even find one, yeah. You can find them smaller, but then it doesn't make sense, because they are still produced in Portugal, but for sort of family size. So you can get this, 100, 200 liters even very easy. From that onwards, they're nearly impossible to find.
Anyone who's listening and wants to, if you're going to Alentejo sometime between November and let's say February, that's usually the time when the talhas still have some wine in it. At some point they're empty, but I have a list of people and tourists, like tourism contacts, who can arrange meetings with and even lunches in the cellars. Yes. So there's these young people are really lifting up the area, and it's been hands down one of the greatest experiences regarding wine going to Alentejo. The Portuguese people, nicest people, and then it feels like you're traveling, I don't know in which dimensions, time and space a bit, because you are truly witnessing something that doesn't really exist anymore. The hospitality and the cellars, and they break down they take the wine out from the bottom, and even though, because I'm a bit of a cynicist sometimes when it comes to wine, like you've seen so many wineries, and like when everybody tells their terroir is so unique, you're like, you've heard it a few times before, and you need to filter it a bit. But I feel like in Alentejo, I was very moved by how unique it was. But it sounds the same what you explained in Serbia. Like it's these almost died out traditions that are very local, and now they're starting to open up.
I think is sometimes hard for the public to hear something new. Sometimes our own staff asks, why do we need to sell Tamjanika and Natalha? We could just sell Riesling, would be so much easier. And they're right. But I think there's such a different soul when you, when you have a unique wine. When you can really stand behind. And I mean, here they don't use any irrigation. They use very little, even pruning. It's very minimal intervention in the vines, because in Alentejo is a big deal, the water consumption. So they are really in contact with the nature, and I don't know, it makes it so special to have a unique product that is done in a unique way in a very specific region. So and that we can stand behind, because it also, of course, comes from a country that I know very well, and of course I have met the producer now 2 times. So it really brings something special when I'm pouring the wine. I feel if I'm pouring this, people will like it, if I'm starting pouring Natalha.
They don't have a choice.
It's a great wine. It works well.
And sometimes people really expect something very different from Alentejo, full body, or the same. I mean, people have this idea of certain regions, and I was having this talk with the producer, and I think he said it pretty well. He said, a region is not a wine style. It's a region. It's we can make different wines inside of this specific region. They are very different things, and I thought that was a very good way to put it. A region is not a wine style, and maybe we were in the past maybe led by the French people. I have nothing against them, but to think that things needed to be such in a box, that a wine from Bordeaux needed to be like this and done in this way and done in that way. And I think nowadays we have passed a little bit that, and I think people can have their own soul even inside of their own region with their own soils, but there's so much variety behind that. Sorry, I know you produced wine in France in the past, but this is just my honest opinion of I think.
I thought we were French.
How things moved or have moved.
But I think you're right in that sense. I think Bordeaux, at least, is suffering a bit from being in such a box that it's very hard to move out of it, and people do not want to drink Bordeaux in the same quantity as they used to. But I think Portugal, in a way, it's getting a lot of good around it, that there's so much versatility and new people thinking outside of the box, doing traditionally, but doing it in a fun way with the labels look modern, and there's young people making it, but they have a great sense of the roots, and they are respecting the history, but they're not putting themselves in a box. But they are very different regions. So
they are.
I think we could continue talking about this easy for a couple more hours. But we have a time limit.
I thought you would say, but we need food.
Yeah, I need food.
That's what I thought now.
It's a Finnish tradition of just drinking, There's no food on the table. It's just multiple glasses. No. I had a last question, because we talked about Nolla, of course, and it's your first restaurant, and but you do have Elm and you do have Nolita. What's the difference in your view for those restaurants, and maybe from the wine point of view as well?
They are very different. I think. From Nolla, which has such an extensive wine list, and there's, what we try to have there is very special. To be honest, at Nolla. And we want you to have a lot of options when you go to Nolla. We are trying to have one of the best wine lists in the city. That's our objective at Nolla, to be very straightforward. At Elm, we really focus on having something that is from our own regions. So we don't go too easy. So we don't have the very typical maybe wine that you expect. Something that we can stand behind. We also think that it should be affordable at Elm, and we try to not have a very extensive wine list. So we try to have 7 to 8 wines by glass, and this gives us the possibility to make sure that the wine It's fresh. It was open recently. Of course, we work 6 days a week, lunch and dinner, so that's why we can have so many wines open. So the idea is just that you get something quite honest behind the price that you are paying at Elm, and then maybe Nolita it has such an extensive wine list, so maybe Luka can
for the small space, it has a lot of bottles, and that just simply comes from our excitement with all the bottles that you can buy at certain time, but as well offer to our customers, and it kind of maybe showcases that concept of Nolita is easygoing bistro that you can always pop a bottle and taste the glass, and not so formal dinner that you can come in for a glass only or for a 4-course meal and have a good wine based on natural wines. Nice.
If somebody wants to come and taste wines from Portugal and the Balkan region, you can buy them probably from all of your restaurants, but would it be Elm or would it be Nolita? Or?
These are actually only available at Nolla, no?
And Baša is available at Nolita and Nolla probably a bit. Natalha
and Guyot are only available at Nolla. So Nolla, I would say that is probably the place where you can get the most.
But to make it safe, go everywhere.
Go everywhere.
All the 3 places, and
I mean, we couldn't bring everything we have, of course, to this. Otherwise, this podcast would be 2 years. But yeah, I think Nolla is such an excellent, and I think that also could be a good message. Like, go to Nolla for a glass of wine. That's it. You don't need to go for. You don't need to go because Nolla is so everybody goes to a glass of wine to Nolita and Elm. We have that, but at Nolla we don't have that much. People are a bit afraid of coming in just for a glass of wine.
Yeah, the bar desk is not booked online and it's free for grabs. And I think it's used. Luckily, we always have walk-ins as Fredrikstad is busy street, but that's the place that I would definitely find myself if I would walk by and have a snack and a glass of wine.
And I think we have one of the best sommeliers in town at Nolla too, Natalha. So yeah, I don't see why wouldn't you pop for a glass of wine there.
No reason. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
This has been wonderful and great wines. Let's go have some food.
Cheers.
Kun haluat viinistä ja viiniharrastuksesta enemmän irti, Decanter-myymälät ja verkkokauppa palvelee suomalaisia viinin ystäviä yli 30 vuoden kokemuksella. Meiltä löydät laadukkaat viinilasit, viinikaapit sekä laajan valikoiman keittiötarvikkeita huippubrändeiltä kuten Riedel, Peugeot, De Bayer, Coravin ja Bar Professional. Decanter, herkuttelijan valinta jo vuodesta 1987.
Well, that was a great chat. Thank you for tuning in. And for those who are listening, those English speakers who are listening to this, you can go back in our catalog and listen to our episode with Dean Hewitson from last summer. That interview was also in English. And I hope you have a great month and see you next month. Hopefully Jonas will be here with me. Ciao.